batted around, comes out to Busby. 12 seconds to go. He leans in, shot called out, and Dark gets the rebound. 7 seconds left to go in the first quarter. And traveling with a basketball, number 10 along the far sideline, Wayne Parker.
Parker knew he was going to get that pass from Wilson, and he kind of cheated, tried to look ahead to see what lane was open, and when he turned his head back around, the ball was already there, and that caused the violation. 20-14, Peterman ball, last 4 seconds of the period.
We're down to 2. Busby with a 35-footer, and it almost went in. Couldn't get it to drop, though. That's the end of the first quarter here at Chrysler Arena in this Class C championship basketball game. The score, Saginaw St. Peter and Paul 20 and Buchanan 14. This broadcast coming your way on the Public Television Sports Network.
Okay, welcome once again to between the first and second quarter of this Class C basketball game. And I've got a young man next to me who is one of the top basketball players in the state of Michigan. He's the single-season scoring all-time leader in the state of Michigan, Mr. Jay Smith from Mio Sabo. Jay, it's got to be a great thrill for you to win that honor, or to achieve that honor of being the all-time leading scorer in the state of Michigan.
Yeah, that's quite an accomplishment, but how to give up all them points been here today playing.
I bet you would. What do you think of getting this far for Mio? Do you guys think maybe you guys can be back next year?
Yeah, we're hoping. We're already planning next year being down here. We're going to work hard this summer. We're going to try to be here next winter.
Jay, I've seen you play, and you're a heck of a ball player, and we hope the people in Mio will send in their pledges to TV 6 and 14 to the phone numbers on your screen. Once again, this is Jay Smith from Mio Sabo. I'm Mike DeGudas, and bow back to the basketball game.
And we're ready to start the second quarter of action. Peter and Paul gets the tip. Bland from the corner, it's short. Gets his own rebound. Muscles his way in, and Frazier grabs it down for the Bucks. 20-14. Saginaw St. Peter and Paul leading Buchanan. Busby along the baseline. His finger roll is short. Mark Dark gets the rebound for Peter and Paul. I tell you, Mark Dark and Dwayne Parker, Peter and Paul, 2 excellent players off the bench. Cass Wilson down the right wing for Peter and Paul, gets a screen and hits it.
In the first period, John, Buchanan was only 37%, 6 out of 16. Peter and Paul, 55%, 10 out of 18. Buchanan had 5 turnovers, 4 for St. Peter and Paul.
Cass Wilson now with 4 points, and it's an 8-point lead for Peter and Paul. Wilson had 22 points against Bronson the other night. Busby's pass is tipped away. However, Joe Watts for Buchanan recovers. Bucks having a little trouble against that Peter and Paul zone right now. Busby, rolling the perimeter, is going to put it up and in. 22-16. Peter and Paul's lead cut to 6. Parker underneath the Dark got a nice feed. Dwayne Parker has come into this lineup off the bench and really ignited the Crusaders, who now lead at 24-16 over Buchanan.
4 points for Dark since he's come in also. Both have played very, very well.
Frazier inside. Underneath to Moses Kiles, who drops it through. 24-18. Peter and Paul by 6. Dwayne Parker on the move, almost got it to fall in. Parker very good at penetrating. Busby now also good for Buchanan. Pass underneath to Kiles, and Moses Kiles puts another one in. 24-20. Peter and Paul's lead cut to 4. And David Bland dribbled the ball off his leg right into the Buchanan bench, and the Bucks get it on the turnover.
One other interesting note, Leo Smokey Boyd in his 20th year as coach here at Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. He was a member of the team state championship team back in 1947 as a player.
Oh, he's been there before. A little different form. Frazier in the lane, puts it up over Dark, and it falls in. Almost all muscle on that shot. 24-22. Peter and Paul's lead cut to 2, and now a jump ball is going to be called. Dwayne Parker, number 10 for Peter and Paul, will jump it up against Joe Watts. 5:37 left to go in the second quarter. Peter and Paul 24, Buchanan 22.
Parker's a good leaper, though. As I said, he skied one last night for the dunk. Let's see how he gets off in this situation.
Both about the same size, and Parker gets the tip. It's back to Mike Boyd. Parker now against Watts. Almost got it. Gets his own rebound back, and the shot is blocked by George Frazier. But Frazier's going to pick up the foul.
John, we are in the midst of a basketball game here. They're running up and down and playing some pretty good basketball. 24-22 with 5:28 to go in the second period. St. Peter de Paul, the Crusaders on top.
That's only Frazier's first foul. Greg is 6'3", 175 pounds, a senior. Mike Rouse of Buchanan starts 3 seniors and 2 juniors. Leo Boyd of Peter and Paul as Dwayne Parker hits the free throw to make it 25-22.
Parker has 5 points now since coming in as a substitute.
Leo Boyd starts 5 seniors for Peter and Paul. And the second free throw makes it 26-22. Peter and Paul up by 4. Busby, nice pass inside to Moses Kyles.
It's at least 5 assists unofficially for Busby so far.
Boyd to Dark, and he hits the reverse layup, and they're really going up and down the floor.
Lovely team play by Saginaw St. Peter de Paul to get that bucket right back.
Ron Williams in the far corner. So Watts, Frazier at the free throw line. Underneath to Kyles, and with 4:57 to go, the Bucks swing it outside. Busby puts it up, and the shot is blocked partially by Dwayne Parker, but Parker is going to pick up the foul. That is his first. That will send Gerald Busby of Buchanan to the free throw line.
Buchanan is coached by Mike Roast. This is his first year as the varsity coach. Last year he was the JV coach for the Bucks, and last year was really his first year at the school. Before that, he had been an assistant coach at Ann Arbor Pioneer before moving out to southwestern Michigan, the far southwest side of Berrien County.
Busby drops the first run through to cut the Peter Paul lead to 3, 28-25. That was team foul number 5 for Peter and Paul. And Busby, however, can't get the second one to go, and Gissendaner gets the rebound.
Gissendaner back in for Mark Dark.
Mike Boyd out front to Parker. He's open and hits it. It's hard to believe that guy doesn't start.
Boyd likes to bring him in and ignite his team, and boy, he's done it again. 8 points now for Parker. 30-25, Peter de Paul.
Peter and Paul in the white, dropping back into their zone. Pass stolen by Parker in the lane. Parker looking for an opening, slows it down to Wilson on the far side. Cass Wilson backs off. Buchanan back into their man-to-man defense. Whistle and a foul called along the baseline. That'll be against Buchanan. And that'll be called against number 21, Joe Watts. That's number 3 against Watts. And we now have a timeout on the floor. 4 minutes and 12 seconds left to go in the first half of this Class C championship basketball game. The score, Saginaw St. Peter and Paul 30, Buchanan 25. And you're watching this basketball game on the Michigan Public Broadcasting Sports Network. Fred Heumann is somewhere in Chrysler Arena, so let's go down now to Fred Heumann.
With me again is Vern Norris, the Associate Director of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Vern, they announced the night session attendance is 13,600, that's capacity, and the total for the day near 40,000. What I'd be interested in knowing is how many of these are casual supporters and how many are actually rooting for a team. How is the ticket distribution?
Oh, I think everyone here is rooting for a team. There's no question about that. But ticket distribution is an allotment of tickets, and I would not have time to go into detail, but it's to each school first, and then our officials have an allotment. A schools get 12 tickets each, B schools 10, C schools 8, D schools 4, each junior high, or 6, I mean, each junior high school 2, and we have some other allotments in there. But once those are gone, we're sold out.
I think it's safe to say that the crowd all day can be commended. It's been a very orderly crowd, very courteous crowd.
Oh, it's a great tribute to basketball. These people have done very well.
Okay, thanks a lot, Vern. Vern Norris, the Associate Director of the MHSAA. And now back to Ed Phelps and John Foster.
Thank you very much, Fred. At the free throw line now for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, number 44, Cass Wilson. And he will be shooting a 1-and-1 as both teams now in the bonus. Wilson can't get it to drop. Busby had it and finally picks it up. 30-25, Peter and Paul leading. 4:05 to go in the first half. Busby inside of Williams. And it's batted around like a pinball. Williams picks it up and almost got it to drop, and Wilson gets the rebound, lost it. Kyles puts it up. Wilson is still down, and now they're going to have to call a timeout. Cass Wilson, number 44, down on the floor, and it looks like he's holding his right ankle.
Wilson, the 6'1" senior, who has not received really all of that much publicity as far as recognition or all-state honors is concerned, because of the very strong team concept put forth by Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. Obviously in pain, right ankle it looks like, is he is escorted off the playing surface and to the sidelines, and gets a round of applause and some concerned looks from the Saginaw St. Peter and Paul cheerleaders. Wilson will be missed if he's gone from the game for a long time. He has 4 points thus far. Peter and Paul leading 30-25.
Cass Wilson has been averaging 18.3 points a game. He had 22 points yesterday against Bronson. Hit on a phenomenal 10 of 18 from the field. And there you get a look at Cass Wilson favoring that ankle gingerly. 30-25, Peter and Paul leading, and with the basketball. Buchanan really coming out on the man-to-man defense now. Dwight Parker down the lane, hangs in the air, can't get it to drop, and David Bland tried to tip it in, but it was over somebody's back. Number 40, David Bland, picks up his first foul. And will walk down to the other end of the floor. And the Bucks of Buchanan, in the person of Ronnie Williams, will be attempting the 1-and-1.
Buchanan has a phenomenal tournament record in recent years. They won the state championship in Class C 2 years ago. They played very, very well last year, losing ultimately to Redwood St. Mary. And now they're in the finals again this year. Their 3-year tournament record is 21-1 going into tonight's ball game, which isn't bad.
David Bland puts it up over Frazier, gets his own rebound, and short again, tips it up again, won't fall. Walsh had a crack at it, and Gissendaner had a crack at it, and it's still loose, and Frazier picks it up for Buchanan. Peter and Paul pounding the boards.
That'll lower their shooting percentage.
Inside Moses Kyles on a great feed from Gerald Busby.
Buchanan cheering section is right behind us, John, and if the score gets much closer, we're going to be able to hear them too well, as a matter of fact.
Walsh down the lane, puts one in, but he travels. 30-27, Peter and Paul leading. And in case you missed it, just about a minute ago, Peter and Paul lost Cass Wilson, one of their leading scorers, and now it looks like Buchanan's Gerald Busby might be hurt.
Busby now down on the court, obviously in some pain as he now rolls over into a sitting position. 3:03 to go in the second period, 30-27. Saginaw St. Peter and Paul clinging to a 3-point lead. They have held the lead most of the game. They led 20-14 through the after the first period. And now we can see the Buchanan cheerleaders with concerned looks on their faces as they watch as their star is examined by Coach Mike Rouse, who's come off the bench. And can't tell exactly what's going on. We're kind of blocked out in the position as Busby is remaining on the floor. In games earlier today, you saw tonight, Busby now gets up. You saw tonight Orchard Lake St. Mary defeated Detroit Desponas in Class D, 67-52. This morning, 67-52. Muskegon High School taking course for the B title. And in Class A this afternoon, Flint Northern is 8th Class A title in the state of Michigan, defeating Pontiac Central, which has still not won a championship, coming here many times, 67-56. Busby's up, right, John?
Cass Wilson was lost by Peter and Paul about a minute ago, and although he's a fine basketball player, I don't think they would be hurt as much by Wilson's loss as Buchanan would be by Busby's loss. Frazier inside, whips up the hook again, it's short. And Walsh grabs the rebound for Peter and Paul. 2:46 to go and a half. Bland gets Kyles up in the air and drops it in.
Busby was able to walk off the court under his own power and is sitting on the bench right now.
Ron Williams, far side to Dave Karpinski, a freshman. Kyles is going to put it up and drops it in. 32-29. Peter and Paul leading. Crusaders with the ball, and David Bland answers the call for the Crusaders.
With Busby out of there, St. Peter and Paul should be able to go inside almost at will. They'll be a bigger team in there now. They should get most of their scoring underneath.
Peter and Paul leading by 5. Karpinski on the move. Hands off to Williams, but he was in the lane for 3 seconds, and the Bucks turn it over. And Busby is up off the bench, reporting to the scores table. He appears to be all right. He's checking back into the ball game. And he will replace David Price, number 31. Busby appeared to be hit in the upper thigh area. Suffering just a slight bruise, but he's okay now. Pass inside goes to Phil Gissendaner, and he is fouled by Ron Williams of Buchanan. 1:56 left to go in the ball game. His first foul on Williams. And that should put Phil Gissendaner at the line.
1-and-1 situation for Gissendaner. 34-29, Peterden Paul, 1:56 to go. Gissendaner, one of the students who transferred from Buena Vista High School. Buena Vista, unfortunately, not able to continue athletics this year because of the defeat of the military.
Busby looks like he's all right as he skied for that rebound. Karpinski, fall-away jumper.
That's why the freshman plays varsity basketball.
Dave Karpinski at 5'7", the smallest player on the floor right now. Dropped one in. 34-31, Buchanan cuts Peter and Paul's lead to 3. Walsh fires away and hits it. Phenomenal shooting at the heart of both teams. Either club able to really pull away from the other. Busby passes in the air to Williams, who got it off, but he's fouled.
Gissendaner on the foul. Mark Dark will come back in, replacing Phil Gissendaner, who comes out.
Peter and Paul is up by 5 at this point, 36-31. 1:24 left to go in the first half. But Buchanan's Ron Williams is at the free throw line. Williams' first one is a little bit too hard. He'll have another one coming up. Both teams in the bonus. 1:24 left to go, first quarter. Williams' second shot was way off the mark to the right. And it remains a 5-point Peter and Paul lead with 1:18 to go in the first half. Walsh inside the Bland, puts it up over Frazier. It's long, and Moses Kyles is high to clear, and Gerald Busby traveled with the basketball. Busby trying to grab it out of the air with one hand and turn it over. Peter and Paul's basketball, 1:05 to go. Boyd outside now to Walsh. And David Bland almost centering it between his legs. Now puts it up over Frazier and hits it.
I was about to say they're gonna hold the ball and look around for a good shot, but I guess that was a good one. It went in.
David Bland, 6'4", 190, a senior. Makes it a 7-point Peter and Paul lead. Busby fall-away jumper almost tipped in by Frazier, and well, one official called a foul and the other called a jump ball. Let's see who prevails. And apparently the official who called the jump ball, who was underneath the basket, prevails, and it'll be number 13, Moses Kyles for Buchanan, jumping against Mark Dark, Peter and Paul. And Busby gets the jump ball. 38 seconds to go in the half. 38-31, Peter and Paul leading. Buchanan with the basketball. Firing away from outside and hitting is Busby.
Lovely shot from 20 feet. Beautiful, beautiful shot.
He is some kind of outside shooter and really can do it all at 6'4". 38-33. Walsh fires away and Kyles chases it down with 15 seconds to go. Frazier's shot is long, but he's fouled by number 24, Pete Walsh. It's number 1 on Walsh.
Busby has 10 points in the game thus far. His teammate Mo Kyles is the leading scorer with 12. David Bland and Dwayne Parker each have 8 for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. Walsh and Dark have 6. Boyd and Wilson 4. Gissendaner 2.
At the line, Greg Frazier. And he cuts that Peter and Paul lead to 4 points, 38-34. Greg Frazier is 6'3", 175 pounds, a senior. Second one's off, but Busby gets it. Busby gets Bland, muscles his way up, can't get it to drop, but he's fouled. Well, that took just a couple of seconds as Busby will be at the free throw line with 9 seconds left to go in the half.
Second foul in the game for Bland. Busby can bring them back to within 2 points. 38-34 the score now with 9 seconds to go at halftime. And though they've trailed most of the way, if they can go into the locker room only trailing by 2, they're still in the ball game, definitely.
Busby hits the first one. 38-35. Peter and Paul leading. The second one's in and out. Mark Dark gets the rebound. 7 seconds to go. 3-point Peter and Paul lead. Peter and Paul with the basketball. Far side to Walsh. Inside to Dart with 1 second to go. He puts it up. Can't get it to fall in. That's the end of the first half. So in this Class C Michigan High School Championship basketball game, the score, Peter and Paul of Saginaw 38, Buchanan 35. And right now, let's go down to the floor to Fred Heumann, who has a report on the injured Crusader player, Cass Wilson. Fred.
Standing just outside the training room here at Chrysler Arena, you see St. Peter and Paul running into the dressing room is Cass Wilson, and they're icing the right ankle of Cass Wilson. The injury was sustained over the summer, and he appears to have re-injured it. Cass Wilson did sprain the right ankle over the summer, and he appears to have re-injured it. Now, the extent of the injury is not yet known, but he is currently getting it iced, and the trainers are looking at him. We cannot get any report on the extent of the injury, although it is doubtful that he will return. Cass Wilson being iced the right ankle right now in the training room. John?
Okay, thanks, Fred. And we might mention that the Buchanan fans had a scare also as Gerald Busby went down, their star in the first half, but he was up and finished up the half. So the halftime score here in this Class C championship game, Saginaw, St. Peter and Paul 38, Buchanan 35. The second half will be coming up in just a few minutes. This broadcast coming your way on the Public Broadcasting Sports Network. John Fawcett along with Ed Phelps back at Chrysler Arena in Ann Arbor. It's halftime here in this Class C championship basketball game. There you see our halftime score, and Ed got a few pencils out on the screen now. Fred Heumann walking behind Cass Wilson. Cass hurting his right ankle, an injury that occurred this past summer, and looks like he re-injured it again. And Ed, it doesn't look like Cass will be back tonight.
Right ankle, obviously. Cass now on crutches. He comes out. Going to be kind of an inspirational guide, I think, from the sidelines. He'll go right to the bench. They will miss Wilson, their team leader. But nonetheless, they lead the game after the first half, 38-35 over the Bucks of Buchanan. Now let's look at the official scoring stats. First of all, for the Saginaw St. Peter and Paul Crusaders, they have a very balanced scoring attack. David Bland with 8 points and Dwayne Parker off the bench with 8 points. Also, Wilson, who is now out of the game, with 4, and Boyd with 4. Walsh and Dark at 6 apiece for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. For the Bucks of Buchanan, they are led by forward Mo Kiles with 12 points. For the Bucks of Buchanan, All-Stater Gerald Busby with 11. We'll run them down quickly. 7 for Frazier, 3 for Williams, and 2 for Karpinski. Quickly, before the start of the second half, let's go quickly down to Fred Heumann for a report on the injured Cass Wilson.
Well, we aren't able to get a hold of Fred. He's roaming around Chrysler Arena. Now we got him.
Unable to get through to Fred right there. So we'll get ready for the second half with both teams back with their normal starting lineups, except, of course, Cass Wilson is out of the game. John?
Jumping center, number 50, Philip Gissendanner for Saginaw Peter and Paul. His opponent in the center circle, number 11, Gerald Busby. 38-35, Peter and Paul leading. Peter and Paul led at the end of one quarter, 20-14. Ball's batted around and finally picked up by Moses Kiles of Buchanan. He hands to Gerald Busby, who handles the ball for Buchanan. Kiles gets set, launches one up and short, and Gisseldanner gets the rebound. I think some of the Buchanan fans thought he goaltended, and Dwayne Parker turned it over.
Parker, an effective man off the bench for the Crusaders of Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, coming in with 8 points in the first half, but of course he's starting in place of Cass Wilson now.
Peter and Paul out rebounded Buchanan in the first half, 26-23. And firing away from the outside, Dave Karpinski.
Karpinski, that freshman, now with 4 points on the night.
38-37, Peter and Paul's lead cut to 1. 7:23 to go, third quarter. Turnaround jumper by Gissendaner was blocked by Busby, but Busby was on the wrist. It's number 2 on Busby. First foul for Buchanan in the second half. And Gissendaner will be at the free throw line. Gissendaner had 2 points in the first half, but he had 5 rebounds. He drops the first one in. Peter and Paul now leading 39-37.
His job, of course, is not really to score all that much. He's got to control that middle and get those rebounds, which he does for Smokey Boyd's team.
Second free throw is missed. Busby gets the rebound. Gissendaner averaging 9.3 rebounds a game. Karpinski out front for Buchanan at 5'7", the smallest player on the floor. Underneath Moses. Kyles almost lost it in the lane, but dropped it in. They got that one to crawl over the front of the rim that time, and we're tied at 39.
14 points for Kyles.
Parker working baseline, lost it. Williams on the steal. Ron Williams to the free throw line. To Frazier. Forced one up, and got his own rebound and banked it in.
Did he plan that, John? He just kind of threw that up and knew where it was going to come down and put the rebound in.
Buchanan leading for the first time in a while, 41-39. A minute and a half into the third quarter. Walsh goes down after the shot. Ahead now to Kyles. He puts it up the lane and back to the net. Number 13, Moses Kyles, put up and made an almost impossible shot. And he was fouled and will go to the free throw line to try for the three-point play. The foul on number 10, Wayne Parker of Peter and Paul. It's Parker's second foul. And the first foul in this half against Peter and Paul. And now Buchanan with a lane violation will not even get a shot from the free throw line. Now in a close ball game like this, that could be very costly.
Yes, very very important play.
Parker from the free throw line. It's long. And Kyles gets the rebound, and he's fouled. Foul will be called against David Bland at number 40 for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul.
St. Peter and Paul foul number 40, David Bland.
That's Bland's third foul.
Buchanan, John, obviously out of the locker room at the halftime playing with much more intensity than they did in the first half.
Buchanan leading 43-39 with 6:10 to go in the third quarter. They were down 38-35 at the end of 2 quarters. Karpinski, who's been hot, remains hot.
5'7" freshman Dave Karpinski, 6 points on the night, 45-39 Buchanan. Things have turned around. Saginaw St. Peter and Paul says we want to talk about it and calls a timeout. Leo Smokey Boyd off the bench. He brought his team here last year and they lost in the finals, and he does not want a repeat of that, John.
5 minutes, 53 seconds left to go in the third quarter. Buchanan 45, Saginaw St. Peter and Paul 39. Now let's go down on the floor of Chrysler Arena and Fred Human.
Attention please, will Lou Gazzetti report to the exit at section 9. Lou Gazzetti of Leslie report to the exit at section 9.
With me is Saginaw St. Peter and Paul principal, Sister Rita Wenslick. And Sister Rita, it's been quite a game, climaxing quite a season.
That's right. We're very happy to be here. We say hello to all of our fans back in Saginaw. It's our second year here in a row, and we're particularly proud of our group this year. They play good team ball. They're good kids. We're happy to have them with us, and they're just glad to be here. We only wish Cass was back in the game with us again.
We do too. You know, you talk about saying hi to people in Saginaw. It sounds like you brought them all here tonight. You got great support, don't you?
There's a lot back there. We wish they were all here, but we know they're back there cheering for us.
Okay, thanks a lot, Sister. Sister Rita Wenslick, and now back to John and Ed.
5:53 left to go in the third quarter. Peter and Paul trailing by 6, and the Crusaders with the basketball. Buchanan playing a tough man-to-man. Walsh at the top of the key, inside the Bland, puts it up over Kyles. It's off the mark, and Williams had it and lost it out of bounds. The Crusaders get it back.
Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, John, has faced adversity before this season. They lost a barn burner to Bay City All Saints in overtime, 96-59. 94. They also lost to Saginaw St. Stephen's, and they played a barn burner against Stockbridge in the quarterfinals, winning that one 83-82 after being behind.
Walsh has it blocked from behind, and then Gisseldaner has it blocked by Busby. Great defensive play by the 6'4" leaping Gerald Busby. Karpinski goes around. How about that for a quick move? 47-39. Buchanan's lead is 8 points, their biggest of the game. Bland inside over Busby, puts it in. 47-41. Buchanan leading with the ball. Frazier gets a screen from Williams, backs in, and he almost got that to drop. If he'd have made that shot.
Not one of your great shots, but it almost fell.
It looked like he knew what he was doing. Walsh guns away from outside, and it's tipped in by David Bland. Bland is going to pick up the foul, and the basket will not count. That is number 4 on Bland, and that has to hurt. Bland is averaging 15.6 points a game and 13 rebounds a game.
Mark Dark is getting off the Crusader bench. He's going to come in to replace Bland. They will need Bland at the end of the game. A steal by Parker. Watch this.
Against Busby. And Busby could not get the block as Parker used his body beautifully. Cut off Busby, got the basket, and also draw the foul.
Third foul on Gerald Busby, and Parker, who has become a major factor in this game, will go to the line. With the score 47-43 for Buchanan, Parker, a junior, now has 10 points.
Wayne Parker at 5'10", can't get the 3-point play, but Dark gets the rebound, and they get a 4-point play. Well, anytime you can do yourself one better, I guess it's for the good.
They'll take it.
47-45, Buchanan leading Saginaw St. Peter and Paul in this exciting Class C championship basketball game. Karpinski is open, and this time he missed it. Almost tipped in. Busby has another shot at it. Busby again. Busby again. Busby gets it again. Can't hit it, and there's a jump ball.
It is a war under the basket, I will tell you. Mark Dark and Gerald Busby ended up between those two after 3, 4, 5 bats at it by Buchanan, by Busby. They couldn't bring it home.
They jump it up in the Buchanan circle, and Busby gets the tip easily, but another violation on the jump ball against Peter and Paul, and Buchanan will get the basketball along the far sideline. 4:01 left to go in the third quarter. Buchanan leading Peter and Paul by 2, 47-45. Busby double teamed out to Karpinski. Quickly back to Busby. His high arching shot is in. He gets that ball way behind his head. Almost shoots like Keith Wilkes. And driving down the lane, Mike Boyd for Peter and Paul. He's fouled by Dave Karpinski.
First foul of the night on Karpinski, but Busby has a great hang time too. You know, he can sort of stay up there in the air and survey the situation, and has the ball protected way behind his head and gets off a beautiful shot. He has 13 points on the night.
49-45, Buchanan leading it, and it remains 49-45 as the Crusaders miss the outside shot. Busby walking the ball down the floor for Buchanan. Karpinski, quick little guard, gets Walsh to go by and almost hit it, but Gisseldaner gets the rebound. He's tied up, but he was also fouled.
Buchanan foul on Greg Frazier, number 35.
Greg Frazier picks up the foul for Buchanan. That is his second, the 4th team foul against Buchanan.
Gisseldaner sits down now, and Ralph Martin comes into the lineup, a 6'2.5" junior, 170 pounds for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, wearing number 32.
Number 32 in for St. Peter.
49-45, Parker on the move, tried to pass off, and he was fouled.
Buchanan foul, number 13, Mo Kyle.
Foul's called on Buchanan's Moses Kyles. That's his first foul. Team foul number 5 against Buchanan. So the Crusaders from here on out in the bonus. Parker will be shooting 2 shots. And it's now a 49-46 ball game. Buchanan leading. It's been a good one. Up to this point, maybe the best ball game of the 4.
We got a long way to go, too, John. 49-47 with 3:12 left in the third, and Busby brings it over the timeline.
Peter and Paul drops back into their 2-3 zone. Karpinski trying to figure it out. Decides he'll let Busby do the thinking. Busby passes off to Karpinski. Return tried to hit Frazier, but the Bucks were in the lane for 3 seconds. Buchanan turns it over, leading by 2 points with 2:54 left to go in the third quarter. 49-47. Boyd back to Walsh. Parker along the baseline gets free shot blocked by Frazier from behind. And Karpinski tries to save, and he does so. Down the floor to Kyles, and his pass goes through the baseline in the far corner. Last tipped by a Crusader, so Buchanan will get it.
Boy, I'll tell you, Parker was in there in the land of the Giants under the basket. He was lucky to get away with what he got away with.
Shot block was made by Greg Frazier, who got it from behind. He's got the ball now. 49-47, and a balloon.
And a balloon on the court.
Officials earning their pay tonight. Besides officiating the ball game, removing a balloon. 2:30 left to go in the third quarter. Busby is free. This time it's off. He gets his own rebound, flies through the air, too hard. And Mark Dark rips the rebound away, and he got it to Walsh, and Walsh couldn't handle it.
Busby in there to deflect it. He deflected it off Walsh and then out of bounds. So the Bucks get possession again with 2:19 left in the third under their own offensive basket. Kyles is going to throw it in.
49-47, Buchanan leading inside. Ronnie Williams, he banks it in. 51-47, the Bucks of Buchanan up by 4. Wayne Parker swings it around the Walsh. Walsh on the drive, whistle, and he traveled. So Walsh had the right idea, but took too many steps, and the Crusaders turn it over. 51-47, a 4-point lead for Buchanan. They have the basketball. And the man with it now generally makes things happen for the Bucks, Gerald Busby. Busby operating outside against that zone. Karpinski. Karpinski 5'7", just a freshman, and is he quick? Busby inside to Williams against Stark, has it knocked away, and he's fouled. Ron Williams was fouled by number 24, Pete Walsh, Peter and Paul. And that's Walsh's second foul.
His second personal.
And Ron Williams will be at the free throw line shooting the 1-and-1. Correction, he'll be shooting 2. That was a 4th team foul against Peter and Paul.
Williams isn't very big, but he plays along the front line at about 6 foot or 6'1", and he works in there, gets his points honestly every ball game for the Bucks.
Ron Williams for Buchanan, second one coming up. It's too hard, and Kyles tips it to the baseline, but Walsh gets it for Peter and Paul. 52-47, Buchanan leading. 1.5 minutes left to go, third quarter. Parker shot partially blocked. Williams had it, lost it, and it was off Mark Dark's hand, so Buchanan will get it.
Busby got up over Parker that time and forced him to drastically change the trajectory of the shot, and it was nowhere near the target.
Gerald Busby once again walking the ball down the floor for Buchanan. His Bucks leading 52-47. Buchanan trounced Iron Mountain last night. Busby outside, in and out, but right there to almost tip it in was Frazier. He almost stepped it in again, and it was finally put in by Moses Kyles.
Kyles is an all-league forward in the Blossom Land Conference, which was won by the Bucks this year.
54-47, Buchanan's lead up to 7. Parker hangs in the air, almost banked it in, and it's tipped out finally to Kyles. 47 seconds to go in the quarter. 54-47 Buchanan. Kyles didn't get it to go, but Busby did.
Busby now 15 on the night. He does it all. Shoots from the outside, goes inside to get the rebounds, and has the assist too.
Walsh layup is missed, but Parker chases it down in the far corner. Dwayne Parker off the dark. His follow-away banker is too hard, but right there to put it up and in, number 32, Ralph Martin. And a steal by Parker, and they get 4 right away.
Brings the We're right back in the ball game. Third period nears its conclusion. 15 seconds to go.
5-point Buchanan lead. The Bucks will go for the last shot. Good anticipation by Dwayne Parker that time. Busby gets through everybody. Underneath to Williams. He fouled, somehow eludes Walsh and puts it in with 2 seconds to go. And Kyle's got the steal and kicked it out of bounds. There's a buzzer. That's the end of the third quarter. And this Class C championship Michigan high school basketball game. Buchanan Bucks leading Saginaw St. Peter and Paul by a score of 58-51. This telecast coming your way on the Public Broadcasting Sports Network.
Here on TV 6 and 14 with the great action here you've seen on the court in this Class C championship basketball game here at the Chrysler Arena. And we bring you these games on TV 6 and 14 as a special service as part of our programming. We'd like you to phone in and call those numbers. Phone in your pledge at 774-3105 or 774-3034 and phone in your pledge. And by doing that, you will say that thank you for bringing you all 4 final games today here at the Chrysler Arena. It's been our pleasure to bring you these games, and this will be our last pledge break during the games. Of course, we want you to stay tuned right after and phone in again and phone in those pledges to Festival 78. This is Mike DeGutis taking you back to this exciting fourth quarter of action between these two fine Class C schools.
It couldn't get much more exciting as we head into the fourth quarter with Buchanan leading Saginaw St. Peter and Paul by a score of 58-51.
The Bucks of Buchanan played very well in that third quarter, limiting St. Peter and Paul to just 13 points while they scored 23 themselves. And so what a turnaround it was, now 58-51. St. Peter and Paul obviously missing Cass Wilson a bit. 11 out of 18 for 61% for Buchanan in the third period. 5 out of 15, just 33% for Peter and Paul, who also had 4 turnovers to 2 for Buchanan. We are in the midst of a ball game, 58-51 Buchanan. Here's the fourth quarter tip.
And they're going to have to jump it up again. Gerald Busby, number 11 for Buchanan against Bill Gissendaner, and they jump it up, and Busby gets it. He is some kind of smooth basketball player. Going to make some college coach very happy. What a guard he'd make this time he traveled though.
Busby with 15 points, Kyles with 16 to lead Buchanan, 11 for Frazier, 14 for Dwayne Parker off the bench to lead St. Peter and Paul. David Bland has 10. Bland in foul trouble with 4, but he's back in the ball game.
Cass Wilson, the starting forward for Saginaw Peter and Paul, left the ball game with 3:38 to go in the first quarter. Sprained his ankle. He will not be back in. Gissendaner blocked from behind by Moses Kyles. Outlet pass to Ron Williams. Can he catch up to it? Yes, sirree. Williams along the baseline. Can't get it to fall, and Gissendaner really rips it down. Peter and Paul, 3-on-1 fast break. Walsh underneath the Parker. It's easy.
Parker now with 16 points. Essentially, Smoky Boyd's running a 3-guard offense with Walsh and with his son, Mike Boyd, and also with Parker in there.
As Parker and Boyd out front on that 2-3 zone. Karpinski, the freshman, with the ball now for Buchanan. Busby gets by Bland. He puts it in. The basket will count, and he's fouled.
Basket scored by Gerald Busby.
17 points now for Busby. 60-53, the Bucks at Buchanan. It's 7:01 to go in the ball game. Gerald Busby at the line.
Busby can't get the three-point play, but the Bucks keep it alive on the backboard and then knock it out. The foul was called on Peter and Paul's Mike Boyd, his second foul. 6:57 to go in the ball game. 60-53, Buchanan leading. Bland brings it out front to Walsh. Inside to Gissendaner, backs in against Busby and hustles one in.
Gissendaner's a horse under the basket. He's a big fella, 6'4", and probably about 215 pounds.
60-55, Buchanan's lead is chopped to 5. Busby at 6'4" against that zone. The 5'7" Dave Karpinski.
They should now wait, John, and just see if they can get the good shots as they're ahead by 5 here in the fourth period.
Looks like that's just what Buchanan's going to do. 6:18 to go in the ball game.
Oh my, Busby found him.
62-55, Leo Boyd. Peter and Paul is up off the floor. He is mad, wants to 6:09 left to go in the ball game. The score here from Chrysler Arena: Buchanan 62, Saginaw St. Peter and Paul 55. This telecast coming your way on the Public Broadcasting Sports Network. Arena somewhere, and we're going to go down to Fred right now. Fred?
With me now is Ray Barra, the athletic director of Buchanan. And Ray, state championship 2 years ago, beaten in the semifinals. Last year was Buchanan, and right back here at Chrysler again this year playing for the state championship. What's the secret of success in Buchanan?
Well, of course, we've had some great bunch of young ball players, good young men there at Buchanan, and we've also had some real good coaching. Mike Rouse is doing a whale of a job this year with the kids. This is his first year as a head coach, and as you can see, he's doing quite a job.
Okay, I think he is, certainly. And Buchanan in the state finals, third year in a row, and they've reached at least the semifinals. Now back to John and Ed, the final exciting 6 minutes and 9 seconds.
Well, we've had some great basketball games here today, but this one has been the best. 62-55, an offensive foul called against Peter Paul.
Parker. Wayne Parker picking up his third foul of the night. 6:03 to go. 62-55. The Bucks of Buchanan, and Gerald Busby's going to throw it in to Dave Karpinski.
Peter Paul with a little bit of a press. Buchanan breaks it underneath. Greg Frazier overshot everything, and Kissendaner grabs the rebound. Outlet pass now to Parker against Karpinski. Look at Parker hang in here and put it in. 62-57. Buchanan being pressed again. Walsh tries to save in the backcourt, and the Bucks lose the basketball.
And one of the radio stations lost everything. I think they're probably calling to see if they're still on the air.
They're picking up their equipment now, trying to patch it back together.
You think this is an easy job, folks. It's not all that easy. Of course, we're upstairs. We're out of that stuff.
We're about 13 rows above the main floor, so unless somebody really comes crashing up here, although we had a gallon of mustard dumped over someone's head earlier, we're going to be all right. Kissendaner. Turnaround jumper, either had it slipped out of his hand or partially blocked, but in any event, Buchanan comes up with it. 62-57, Buchanan leading. 5:20 left to go in the ball game, and the Bucks now will be very patient.
Moving larger and larger for the missing Cass Wilson, I think, for Saginaw St. Peter de Paul. They have fallen behind since he has gone out of the game, and his absence is a major factor thus far in the game.
Buchanan now running their four-corner offense. Busby underneath to Williams. Can't get it, but Frazier tipped it in as Busby hit the deck. He collided with Joe Walsh with no foul.
Busby does make it happen.
7-point Buchanan lead. Bland in the lane. Pumps it up with the right hand. And it finally comes all the way out to Dwayne Parker. Parker from the baseline. It's long. 3 maroon shirts right there to haul it down. Coming away with it, Moses Kyles, and he's fouled.
I believe that foul was on David Bland, and he will be out of the ball game. That will be his 5th foul, and he will be also a large loss for Saginaw.
So David Bland fouls out with 4 minutes, 41 seconds to go in the ball game. And his Crusaders trailing the Bucks of Buchanan 64-57.
Bland goes out of the game with 10 points. He had 7 rebounds in the first half. And as Moses Kyles gets ready to shoot his foul, we can look at him. He shoots off center in the foul area.
Oh, didn't work that time, but Busby gets the rebound. Turnaround bank shot almost in, and Walsh comes away with a rebound. Crusaders breaking. Walsh almost lost it. Finally puts it in. 64-59. Buchanan's lead cut to 5. Bucks being pressed. And almost stepping on the sideline along the far side, Moses Kyles, but he did save it, and the Bucks spread it out again. Joe Watts with the ball now. Checked in about a minute ago, replacing Karpinski. Probably a little better ball handler.
A little bit more experienced, obviously.
Busby out front, has it tipped away by Mike Boyd, but Boyd picks up the foul. It's number 3 on Boyd, and it'll send Gerald Busby to the free throw line for Buchanan.
Busby was 17 in the game now. 64-59. We are 1 second from being halfway through the final period. 4:01 to go in the ball game.
Busby with the 1-and-1. Can't get it, but Frazier gets the rebound. Almost tipped away by Boyd. Good around jumper. A couple of players hit the deck. And the Crusaders come up with it, and then Parker double dribbles the basketball. Now Parker didn't believe it. Jumping around on the floor and almost picked up the technical. But it'll be Buchanan's basketball after the turnover. Now Coach Leo Boyd, Peter and Paul, telling his players to move up the floor defensively. Pass comes into Joe Watts, finally finds the handle and gets it across to Frazier underneath for Williams.
Big bucket right there, John.
66-59, Buchanan leading. Ball stolen by Watts. He's got the breakaway. Watts against Walsh, and it's blocked by Walsh. Beautiful defensive play, and there's nobody down the floor for Buchanan. Parker, and I thought he was going to cram it, but he didn't. 5-point Buchanan lead. 3:21 left to go in the game. Watts has it stolen. It's loose, and Watts gets it back, and he might be hurt. Busby takes it all the way, but I think he traveled. He did. No basket. It remains a 5-point Buchanan lead, 66-61.
The pace quickens, John, with 3:15 to go.
Mark Dark getting set to come in now for Peter and Paul. Parker for the Crusaders missed it, and look at that one-hand rebound by Gerald Busby.
With authority. Wow.
Bucks spread it out in their four-corner offense. Watts almost lost it.
I'd just give the ball to Busby and let him eat up some time because he can do it.
2:53 left to go in the ballgame. It's Class C championship contest. All the way, Watts. Basket will count, and a blocking foul is called against the Crusaders. Pete Walsh. Foul called against Pete Walsh. Watts got the layup. He'll be at the line for the three-point play, and Leo Boyd of Saginaw St. Peter and Paul wants to call a timeout.
Third foul on Watts.
2 minutes, 48 seconds left to go in the basketball game here at Chrysler Arena in this Class C championship contest. The score, Buchanan 68, Saginaw St. Peter and Paul 61.
St. Peter and Paul held the lead throughout most of the early going, as you know, John, 20-14 after the first period and 38-35 at halftime. But the injury to Cass Wilson changed things late in the second period, and essentially it's been a Buchanan ball game from Wilson's injuries on. Now let's go down to Fred Heumann with another interview. Fred?
With me again, Al Bush, the director of the MHSAA. And Al, we're culminating a long day of basketball, exciting basketball, with probably the greatest game of the day, excitement-wise.
Well, of course, all 4 games have been tremendous, and this one's a good one to finish on. I'm sure that all the people that are still here are enjoying every moment of it.
And another great tournament, Al. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, Fred. Takes a lot of help by a lot of people. The people here at Michigan have done a great job, as our managers have all across the state, all the way through the tournament. We get the credit for the good things that happen like this, but there are a whale of a lot of people that help.
Okay, Al, you're one of them. Thanks a lot. John?
At the free throw line for Buchanan, number 21, Joe Watson. He gets the three-point play, 69-61. Buchanan leading. We're down to 2:45 and counting. Walsh to Parker. He's going to put it up from the far corner. It's short, and Frazier gets the rebound. Great Frazier, Buchanan. And the Busby is stolen by Walsh. Walsh goes up and underhand gets the ball, and Busby rips it away with one hand. He's fouled.
Boy, I'll tell you, Busby, once he missed that shot or lost that ball, he wasn't about to let anybody else make any baskets. He went in there and knew he was going to block the shot, knew he was going to at least tie for the rebound, which is what he did.
2:29 left to go in the game. Buchanan leading by 8. Busby tips to Frazier. Bucks on the break. Watts moves around to Boyd and hits it. Nice shot by Joe Watts. 71-61. The Bucks by 10.
Buchanan making a strong run for the title now. 71-61 with just over 2 minutes to play.
Dark almost tipped it in for Peter, and Paul finally chases it down. Boyd inside to Parker, puts it way up over Busby and hits it. 71-63, 1:54 to go.
22 points for Dwayne Parker.
Busby a little slow getting down the floor. Watts in the lane, underneath the Williams. How he ever got around Mark Dark, I don't know. 73-63, Buchanan by 10 points with 1:39 to go. Dark's going to put it up from outside. It's off the mark. Busby almost had it. Williams finally gets it. Pass knocked out of bounds by Dwayne Parker.
That was a little bit out of Dark's range there where he shot from. He shouldn't be shooting out there. And the Bucks get the ball now looking mighty good for a second state championship in 3 years, ahead by 10 with a minute and a half to play.
Moses Kyles brings it across the timeline. 1:25 to go. Buchanan by 10. You can hear the Buck fans in the background. But it's not over yet. 1:19 to go. Busby all the way. Hello. Gerald Busby puts the Bucks up by 12, and Mike Boyd tries to split the seam against Moses Kyles and Joe Watts. He does so, and he is fouled by number 13, Moses Kyles. That's his third.
We have to do it again, John. You know, we're approaching the final moments of this game. I chose first last game. I'm going to let you talk first this time about our player of the game.
Gerald Busby.
Okay. I think we'd have to agree there.
Mike
It's obvious
Boyd.
that with Buchanan, without Busby, would probably not even be here today.
At one point, it looked like it might be Dwayne Parker coming off the bench in the first half, but still had a lot of basketball to play. Lane violation on the second free throw.
Lane violation.
And Buchanan will have the ball. Length of the floor to go. Buchanan leading Saginaw, St. Peter, and Paul by 11 points. And a foul called in the backcourt. This one's on number 22, Mike Boyd.
Fourth foul on Mike Boyd. The Bucks of Buchanan from Berrien County, state Class C champions in 1976, losers in the semifinal round last year, and they are going to be the state Class C champions of 1978, barring a major turnaround with 1:04 to go. They lead by 11. Ron Williams at the line seeking to increase that margin.
And
he does it.
Oh, but Moses Kyles is great. Dang it, rebound effort, put it in. 13-point Buchanan lead. Parker shot blocked by Kyles. Busby gets the rebound. Busby on the break. Underneath the Frazier. Shot blocked by Walsh, and Walsh gets it. 45 seconds left to go. Underneath Mike Boyd. Shot blocked by Busby. And Busby picks up the foul. That's his fourth.
77-64 for Buchanan. Cass Wilson sits dejectedly on the end of the bench for Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, re-injuring an ankle that he suffered, injured first this past summer, and has been out of the game since re-injuring it in the second period, and his absence has been a major factor in this contest.
Boyd's free throw makes it 77-65. Buchanan by 12. Buchanan bucks for the ball. Busby winds up, then hits Watts. Now down to Kyles. Inside to Frazier, and almost had it. Frazier tips it once. Williams tips. Williams again. And they're going to jump it up into Buchanan's circle. 29 seconds left to go. Well, Buchanan's only lost this year in a Christmas tournament to River Valley, 50-44. But they avenged that in the districts by crunching River Valley by 21 points. Watts down the lane. He's fouled.
The Buchanan fans beginning that familiar chant, "We are number one, we're number one," and that they are, with 26 seconds to go in the ball game. Foul on Mike Boyd. That's his fifth foul, and that'll be the last basketball game and the last appearance in a basketball game for Mike Boyd, the coach of Smokey Boyd, the coach of Saginaw St. Peter and Paul.
And coming out of the Buchanan lineup, number 35, Greg Frazier, gets a round of applause. He's replaced by number 45, Al Ward. Coming in now, David Price for Buchanan, another substitute. And he replaces Moses Kyles. And Kyles also gets a standing ovation. And now the main man for Buchanan, number 11, Gerald Busby, comes out of the ball game being embraced by his teammates along the bench. And he's replaced by number 33, Jeff Butler.
It's interesting to note that we've had in our two games tonight, John, two first-year coaches winning state championships. Bob Shoemaker down at Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and now Mike Roos down at Buchanan.
Another lane violation before the free throw attempt, and Peter and Paul has the basketball. But it's kind of insignificant right now. Walsh puts up an air ball. Bucks get the rebound. 77-65, Buchanan leading. 13 seconds to go. David Price finally gets rid of it, almost traveled. Al Ward in the corner. Inside to Ronnie Williams. Rebound pulled down by Peter and Paul. There's the final shot of the game off the mark as Ralph Martin of Peter and Paul tries to put it in. But he can't, and there you see the final score as the Bucks from Buchanan are the Michigan High School Basketball State Champions, Class C. And there's a look at the happy Bucks out on the floor.
Well, they made believers out of me, John. I frankly admitted before this game, or felt before this game, that Saginaw St. Peter and Paul would put forth a little bit too strong of a team effort for Buchanan, led by, of course, by its unanimous All-Stater, Gerald Busby, but that was not to be the case, and the Bucks really performed well. They are indeed the top Class C team in the state of Michigan. Their performance led by Gerald Busby, the All-Stater, with 19 points, and having a super game, all-conference forward Mo Kiles with 18.
All right, we're about ready for the presentation of the awards and trophies. Let's go down on the floor.
Class C. She is Dorothy Bentley, principal of Livonia Stevenson High School, and a member of the Representative Council of the Michigan High School Athletic Association. Dorothy Bentley at center court. This time, Ms. Bentley will present the runners-up awards to the Crusaders of Saginaw, St. Peter and Paul. Head coach, Mr. Leo Boyd. His assistants, Denny Lazowski and Art Gillis. St. Peter and Paul players are Dwayne Parker, Everett Leak, Jim Niven, Mike Boyd, Pete Walsh, Jonathan Shivers, Ralph Martin, Jeff Keebler, David Bland, Terry Nowak, Philip Gissendanner, Ray Van Tifflin, Mark Dark, Blake Lauer, and Cass Wilson. Presentation of the team runner-up award in Class C to the Crusaders of Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. Ms. Bentley presents the award to head coach Leo Boyd.
Congratulations again to Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, runners-up in Class C. And now the presentation of the state Class C championship to the Buchanan Bucks. Champions for the second time in 3 years. Head coach Michael Rouse. Assistant coach Bob Storm. And the Buchanan High players, Gerald Busby, Moses Kiles, Brad Pointer, Joe Watts, David Karpinski, Ron Williams, David Price, Jeff Butler, Greg Frazier, Todd Cornwell, and Al Ward. Now the official presentation of the team championship trophy in Class C. Ms. Bentley presents to the Buchanan head coach, Michael Rouse. Congratulations to the 4 new state champions. Class D, Orchard Lake St. Mary. Class C, Buchanan. Class B, Muskegon Heights. And Class A, Flint Northern.
Now there you see the Bucks of Buchanan posing for their championship picture. And as it's happened 3 times before, the familiar smiles on the faces of the winners. Picture's worth how many words? That tells it all right now. The Bucks led by Gerald Busby and his teammates taking the state championship 77-65 over a game Saginaw St. Peter and Paul team. Quickly, Busby had 19 points. Moses Kyle had an 18. Ron Williams had 14. Frazier 13. Watts 6. And Karpinski, the freshman guard, came off the bench for 8. Saginaw St. Peter and Paul. David Bland, who fouled out with 4.5 minutes to go in the fourth period, had 10 points. 22 for Dwayne Parker to lead Saginaw St. Peter and Paul, and in fact lead all scorers. Mark Dark off the bench with 8. Pete Walsh with 8, Mike Boyd with 6, Phil Gissendenner with 5, and 4 by Cass Wilson, who was injured in the second period and left the game, never to return with a bad ankle. Saginaw St. Peter and Paul missed him, but that, believe me, is to take nothing away from a fine, fine Buchanan team from Berrien County. The Bucks claiming their second Class C state championship in 3 years. Last year they lost in the semifinals. John, it was a good game.
Certainly was, and I think probably one of the most exciting games of the 4 finals today here at Chrysler Arena. Once again, running down the winners in the respective classes. In Class B, it was Muskegon Heights. Class A, Flint Northern. Class D, Orchard Lake St. Mary. And just a few minutes ago, the Bucks from Buchanan down Saginaw St. Peter and Paul for the Class C championship crown. Fred Heumann is down on the floor at Chrysler Arena. And we're going to try to get Fred to get together with Coach Michael Rouse, and also perhaps with the star player Gerald Busby for Buchanan. There you see the Class C championship trophy being carted around by the Bucks. Fred is Down on the floor now with Gerald Busby and Mike Rouse, the coach of Buchanan. And as soon as he's ready, we'll go down on the floor. Once again, Buchanan beat Saginaw St. Peter and Paul by a score of 77-65. And Fred is ready on the floor, so let's go down right now to Fred Heumann.
As the final 10 seconds were ticking down in this Class C state championship game, I heard Gerald Busby say to Michael Rouse, we did it, we did it, we did it. And Gerald, you definitely did. You're the champ.
Yes, we did. It was, I tell you, it feels good. The second time in a row. This is my last year, and it feels as hell really good.
Must be one of the greatest thrills of your life.
It really is.
Michael Rouse, I know a lot, not many coaches can even boast of having a state championship team, and I know even fewer can boast of doing it in their very first year. Congratulations.
Thank you. We had one goal at the beginning of the season, and that was to win it all. And I always know we could. They have a lot of character, and they play together, and they're very unselfish. And even though I think Gerald's the best ball player on the team, he didn't do it all. It was a team effort.
And then again, they always say that some of the best players rise to the occasion in the big games, and here Gerald scores 19 in the final game. I guess it's fitting.
That's true. I think he might be the best I'll ever coach, and it's good to start off with a good win. And now I've got to come back and do it again next year.
Gerald, you won the state championship in your sophomore year 2 years ago. How does it compare this year?
Well, this is my last year, and that was my main goal. This is my state championship is my main goal, and I did it. So I'm happy to leave with a state championship riding on my back.
You guys only lost one game all season. That was a holiday tournament game. Did you think right from the start that you'd be here in Chrysler and be victorious?
Well, I knew we could do it. It was just a matter of playing team ball, and we did it.
Michael, what kind of attitude did you have to instill in these kind of players to convince them that they could do it? You've been in at least the semifinals for 3 straight years now.
Our major concern this year, if we played good, sound, man-to-man defense and played team ball and they held their head high, we'd make it. And when we went in at halftime, that's all I instilled in them, what we were doing wrong, what we had to do to come back, and they adapted to it very well. I'm awful proud of them.
Okay, Michael Rouse and Gerald Busby can certainly hold their head high, as can all the supporters of the Buchanan Bucks, the Class C state champions.
All right, thanks a lot, Fred. So Buchanan wins the Michigan State Class C basketball crown by a score of 77-65 over Saginaw, St. Peter, and Paul. Ed, it's been a pleasure working with you. Glad to have you along today.
Real pleasure, John. A lot of fun, some good basketball, some good players, and we'll do it again. How's that sound?
Sounds great. So for Ed Phelps, Rick Durson, Denny Alexander, our status.
Yes, sir. you have voted? Could